I know. Things are changing.
What's up? We're live. Yeah. Okay, we got Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube over here. Then we have another Instagram right here. We got TikTok. We got another Instagram. What's up? Who's here with me live? If you're here with me live, put it in the comments right now and drop some fire emojis.
I am live. I always tell my girls, tag some other effing homies.
Does this match Gray and this? Does this match or no?
It's neutral. You're fine. You're good.
Shit, what's up? Hope you guys are having the best motherfucking Tuesday of your life. All right, so don't have a lot of time because I'm about to go get a haircut, but we wanted to come on here live because I need to do a live. She needs to do a live. We got to do a podcast. She's got to do a podcast.
Okay. For the record, I recorded a podcast this morning, and then I completely lost all of it. It deleted,
okay. So that's what it was. You recorded it and it didn't work.
It's true.
Oh, all right.
That's what happened.
All right.
I had such a productive morning. I had all these things off my list checked, and then my computer audio stopped working. My podcast deleted itself, and I was like, that's Tuesday.
What? So I can't wear a cross if I don't go to church? I still pray all the time?
Yes, he prays every morning.
Yeah, I do every day. I do believe in a higher power, but that's another episode for another day. So let's go ahead and hit that recording, and let's break down today's podcast. Hold on. Let's give some shout outs here before we do that. Shout out to my cousin, Alfred. What's up, kid? Stephanie, what's going on? Cassandra, Keela?
I think it's Kyla.
Is that
Let
Kyla?
me correct us.
Kyla, Sophia Taylor, how are you? Hope you're having the best day of your entire lives. E. Tesson, SVPKNN 993. Sorry, International Royality. The names on TikTok are great.
TikTok is just another story.
Lynn Batten, thank you for tuning in.
Kyla.
Sam. Kyla. I don't know why it's giving me a hard time. Kyla.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It is Kyla. Maddie, Callie. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to jump right into today's episode in 3, 2,
Am I starting with mine?
Do your intro, and I'll do my. I don't know. How should we do that?
Okay, I'll start with mine.
All right, fine.
This was my idea. Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Wait, sometimes I forget what it is. Do you ever do that?
I
got it. 3, 2,
1.
1. Hey, honeys. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Hustle Honeys podcast. It is your girl, Chelsea Tans, back at it again with another episode with Sir
Mr. Southfit, Coach Sal, a.k.a. the best online trainer in the entire motherfucking universe. What is going on, people? We are back. I'll do my intro. Welcome back to another episode of the Shift Your Mind, Change Your Life podcast. Let's fucking get it. We're going to break this down. Both of us are going to do the intro. Does that even make sense? I don't know, but recording this on the same thing. So let's freaking get it.
Cool. Do you want me to just dive into it?
So, yeah, we don't really have much planned. We're just
This is not true. I have had something brewing in my head, and we're going to talk about it because what I've noticed is with summer, and there's so many different ways we can apply this, so we'll go into it. But with summer coming up, what I find is a lot of my clients or a lot of people in general are like all of a sudden, like just freaking throwing all their plans and their goals in the toilet to all of a sudden being like, I need to lose weight. And us both being fitness coaches, it's like, well, okay, say you come to me a month or 2 months ago and you're like, I want to get beefy, I want to get bulky, I want to grow my glutes, I want to grow my legs. We're going to be like, okay, well, we're going to full blown go into a building phase. This might take about 5-6 months before I want to do any kind of like cut because you want to see it through. You want to build it. You want to put in that work. But what I notice is that there's a lot of people half-assing the seasons that they're in instead of coming into it and being like, hey, I'm fucking all in. I'm committed to this season in my life to actually get the results from the work that they're putting in.
You know what's funny is that I was literally, can they hear me over there? It's a little far.
Yes.
Make sure let's plug this guy in really quick so we don't die on that. But yeah, sometimes so we're talking about coaches, right? Like what our best recommendation is. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually having this conversation before. What are you laughing at?
Just waiting for you to say your thing.
Oh, okay. I was having a conversation with the client this morning about that is, hey, I want to lose X amount of weight by a certain amount of time. And we have an expectation of what that's going to be, but then there's the reality of it. And like sometimes we have to break down what the reality of the situation is. And sometimes it's not always what you want to hear. So that's what I took from that. And that's what I'll say on that. Does that make sense?
Sure.
What do you mean, sure? What does that mean?
I think it's really about like, and so we were applying this to business on like the quote unquote seasons of life. Maybe you're not in a state where you're like, I'm cutting, I'm bulking, whatever. Maybe it's like you're in your grind season. Okay. Or maybe you're in your like, I'm gonna rest and do my personal growth or like healing. Maybe you've been through like a lot in your life. And right now it's like, I'm gonna draw back on everything else in my life and really prioritize my self healing. But then you do all these things that isn't prioritizing that. So like your self-healing phase doesn't even become effective. You don't even make progress in that because you're not going all in on that season.
Okay, so we're talking about seasons to life. That was the title of it.
Yes.
Okay. So let's embrace what the seasons are. So there's seasons of change, there's seasons of growth, and then sometimes there's seasons of rest. Is there any other ones that I missed?
I think that anything could be a season, really. Like if you're like, I'm gonna get good at crocheting, like that could be a season. But I think whatever it is like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I have all these goals. Like I'm just gonna say like body composition because like that's the easiest thing for us to relate back to. But say if you come in and you're like, I want to build a dump truck. This is so common. Girls are like, I want a fat ass.
Yeah.
I want a slim waist and a big booty. And it's like, okay, well, let's look at it technically. Like if a girl comes in, she's got a little weight to lose. She has like, she's going to need to build a booty. Essentially what the process is going to start to look like is there's going to be different phases. We're going to go into, a fat loss phase. We're going to kind of trim her down first. Then we'll start building it up, getting to maintenance. Then we'll start into more of a building phase. That being said, is she going to simultaneously have a fat, juicy ass and abs all at once just within 4, 5, 6 months of hiring a trainer? No, because you're going to have to go through those different phases. And I would argue that self-development business would go the same way. Whereas like business, sometimes it's like, I'm going to stop doing, this is what I'm doing. I'm not focusing so much on like marketing and sales because I have a lot of roles already, so like I'm focused. This season is for my back end and really tending to the girls I already have and pouring into my business, pouring into my community. Whereas for like other business owners, it might be the complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think it's really about like identifying what your main goal is and really fucking going balls to the walls with that. Because if you're half-assing any of these things and trying to do everything at once, I would venture to say you're not going to make very much progress.
No, I agree. Now, I'm curious why you felt like this was an important thing to discuss. Now, I agree. I know, because like I am 100% in agreement with you. I was just curious what maybe sparked you to do it. I think there's some perspective in that as well.
Well, it's literally because I've had clients that were like, I want to build. And so I just made a post about the fact that I'm bulking through summer, which is very uncommon.
That's very uncommon.
But it's really about, okay, well, I made the commitment a few months ago to build and be in this growing phase. Just because summer's approaching and maybe there's like societal trends to lose weight and look skinny for summer, that doesn't mean I just abandon my goals because I already committed to them 3 months ago. And I think in my head, it's like, okay, well, committing to a goal, whether it's business, personal, physique wise, whatever, requires you to still be committed to that long after it's not as interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%. Check that phone really quick. There is seasons to life. So for me in particular, when I was prepping for my show, I was all in with my show.
Mm-hmm.
And like my business took a little bit of a backseat. And then when I finished my prep, I really went more ham on my business because that's what I was trying to do. So simply put, like, I think it's about recognizing where you're trying to go and what you're willing to do to achieve that, or what makes sense, better yet, is what I should say. What makes sense for the season. So for right now, I'm not focused so much on prep. Like, yes, I still take training very seriously, but I want to make sure that I'm putting a little bit of my business first because that's the season that I'm in right now. And that's what makes sense for me. And I think that's probably what we're trying to get across here is not just like doing things just to do it, but making it make sense for you and like truthfully where you're going. And then also not forcing things or rushing the process. So going off of your point, right? If they want the fat and juicy dump truck, there's certain phases to doing that. You can't just be like sitting on the couch and having no background, then just flip a switch and you're like, well, yeah, I want this fucking ass now. Let's get this going. Why isn't it growing? It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. Why aren't my glutes growing, Coach Chelsea and Coach Sal? Well, it doesn't work that way. There's like priming phases. There's so many different phases. And like, this is a little bit of a rant, but I was talking to another one of my clients about this morning is like, there's like priming phases to doing other things. So what I'm saying is like we could throw all the trainer terms that we want at you, but things take time, and there's seasons to life, there's seasons to change, and embracing the season that you're in and giving yourself grace is super important.
I completely agree. I love that you mentioned that it takes time, because I think that's like the biggest thing that nobody really takes into consideration, because it's like going to require different building blocks no matter what you do. And so if you're looking at like a long-term goal too, it's like, okay, well, let's break it down so that it actually makes sense. It meets you where you're at, where you can actually commit to something. Because it's the same thing of someone coming here, like hasn't trained, maybe has struggled with their eating in the past, and they come with a picture of JLo and they're like, I want to look like this. It's like, okay, well, that's not just going to require like one number of calories and like here's one training plan.
But the thing is that people are aware of that. So like you're listening to it and you understand that. So what I'm saying is, and I think what we're trying to get across is like, how do you find like peace and fulfillment in the season that you're in and just embracing that? So like long term, right? Could we go there? You think could that be beneficial? Because you guys understand that. So it's more of like, how can I surrender to the process and understand that, hey, maybe I don't get what I want right now within the next few months, but I know if I stay this course, that within 6 months to a year that I will. And that's having faith, and that's trusting the process. So then the question becomes, how do we get there? Do you like where I'm going with that?
I totally think that's valid. I also think one thing that I kind of talked about in my post too is when it comes down to like someone will go, again, going to use training terms because it's just easy as an analogy, but you go into a growing phase. So what we're looking to do is we're going to look to grow. So you're going to look and say, are my inches going up? Is my weight going up? Am I eating more food? Those are some like things that you'd look at. But instead, it's funny because girls will go into growing phase and be like, the scale's going up. I'm fluffy. And they start focusing on the things that aren't their goal. It's like, well, focus on the things that are giving you your goal. I'm not going to go into like business and not focus on my marketing and be like, oh my God, I'm not attracting new clients. Well, dude, that's not what you're even focused on. So I think it's really about when you're going through something, when you're honoring the season, it's like focus on what you're focused on.
But I also think it's like, oh, you said something good and I lost my train of thought on that one. Yeah, no, that was, wait, can you say that last point again? Because I had something
focus on what you're focused on.
No, before that.
You can't go into a growing phase and focus on losing inches.
Fuck, man, I lost it. I'm pissed. I had something really good too.
It literally is, though. It is the instant gratification. And it's funny because I talked to my clients about this on one of our one-on-one calls recently, just talking about so many people nowadays are like instant gratification, because you have Uber Eats, you have instant dopamine with scrolling. And so everybody wants this like instant process and they can't resist delayed gratification. So it's like, it comes down to the same thing where it's like, you just have to understand that you can't, like, you can do everything. No, what is it? You can do anything, but you can't do everything. So like you're going to have to focus on different things at different times to really build something that's sustainable, whether it's a body, whether it's a business, whether it's like your mental health. You know, like no one's going to journal for 2 days and be like, why aren't I fixed yet? Like you'll never truly be fixed. It's an ongoing process that you commit yourself to.
Well, that's the thing that I struggle with, you know, for a long time too, to give you guys like a little story on me for those who don't know. For a long time, I struggled with the all or nothing mindset. And being really overweight and struggling with an eating disorder and having kidney stones and all these things. And I was so quick to fix it, but I was also reluctant to really surrender to the process and like actually do the work. Now, I think there's like the ego part of things where like you think you know what you're doing, but you're not getting the result. And then maybe you make reasons and excuses to justify why you don't have it, but you're unwilling to accept that maybe you don't know things and you need to learn from somebody else. Now, maybe I'm biased because I'm a coach, but at the same fucking time, that's why we're very big on mentors and having our own coaches. And for those who follow my podcast, who listen to this recording, you guys know that I have multiple coaches that do that. And the point and the reason that I'm sharing that is because without that like core understanding and belief on that, it's very easy to program hop, to business hop, to relationship hop, is because like you're not taking the time to figure out you and what you really want. And that's really the core like gap, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
Well, and there's always going to be holes you need to fill. Like, I think even relationship hopping, how many people nowadays just download Tinder and go through people and go, oh, it's not working. Next person. Oh, it's not working. Next person. Instead of being like, okay, well, what are the holes that we need to fix? What is the communication issues? How can we bridge the gap to make this successful? Like, could you imagine building a business? It's like, it starts to get rocky and you're like, fuck this business. You go and build another one and you've built 7 businesses and they haven't worked out. And you're like, why are my businesses working out?
It's you, it's not the business. That's the thing, is that a lot of people don't want to take accountability for their actions. And I'll be the first person to tell you, if you're a client of mine, you know this. Like I will tell you that I don't know something, and I will admit that I don't have the answer, because there's a lot of freedom in that. And I think it's important to understand that, because a lot of times we want to like walk on eggshells, beat around the bush, and we're afraid to really like speak our truth because maybe we're afraid that people are going to get upset. But what I learned in Utah during my mindset retreat, the only way out is through, meaning you could try and go around and lie and cheat and steal and do all these things, but you will never get what you truthfully want unless you go through it and you're willing to do the work. So the more that you sit back here, you blame the circumstances, you play the victim, you point the finger, I don't get it. Why does this person have this, this, and that? All that energy and time that you're focused on doing that, you're only taking away from what you should be doing, which is the fucking work. If you just put the hat on, put the hoodie on, and go to fucking work, and you stop bitching and complaining all the time, and you find ways to make it happen, then within being in the right rooms and asking the right questions, you will get to where you want to be. Right.
And I think it's less fixating on like the end result of being like, let me dig my way out of this hole of being like, okay, well, like, have you guys ever seen that picture? And it's like 2 ladders step by step, and you know what I mean? And there's one ladder that has like, they're like closer together bars so the guy can actually climb up, but they're closer together. There's smaller steps, but then there's one and it's like, oh, there's like 3 different bars in this ladder and you'd have to fucking jump your way to each one, which would be less successful. It's really about taking like every little step. And I think in every aspect, one of my favorite quotes to refer to is, the man that loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination.
Yeah.
Because so many of us are like, oh, I want the end result. I want the end result. But it's like, are you willing to have the in between? Like, oh, I want a successful business. I want to make $1 million. Are you willing to have late nights, not understand your back end, fire people, rehire people, have a fire, have clients that drop off? Are you willing to go through all of that and enjoy it and learn things out of it to get to that $1 million?
Are we talking business or fitness?
It's all the same. It really is all the same.
It is all the same, yeah.
That's why I honestly think, I'm not going to say like, okay, maybe I am. That's why I think that we're so good at both, is because once you have the mindset in one aspect, you can apply to every little thing. It's the same thing as like when I'm working out and I push myself 2 extra reps, that mindset carries through with me in everything that I do. Like, so that's why when I think, okay, well, I'm committing to this growing season, I'm going to go through the summer a little fluffy bean because I said I'm going to bulk. I'm bulking for the next few months. That is my focus. That is how I'm going to look at every other thing too. I'm going to say, okay, well, this is my grind time. Okay, so if I put myself in a grind season, it matters. It does not matter what comes up, what circumstance comes up. I'm not going to be this like circumstantial motherfucker that's like, oh, something like some shit hit the fan. I'm going to like fall back and go into a healing season now and just like not focus on work. No, I committed to grinding for the next few months. I'm going to fucking put my hood on, put my hat on, bury myself, and put in the hours.
It's very simple. To wrap this up, because I have to bounce, just do the fucking work. The only way out is through. And like, I think there's like, we're trying to get across, there's seasons to embracing the grind. There's seasons to embracing loving yourself, but like knowing the difference is a skill set that is developed over time, and you'll never get there, or you'll never work out that muscle or improve your mindset if you're reluctant to doing the work and you're always making excuses and finding reasons to justify why you don't have what you want. And that's pretty much what I wanted to get across. And that's all I could really say on that. Maybe we could do a part 2 to this. Just kind of press for time because I got to go get my hair cut.
My little haircut.
Yeah, I don't want to be late from my barber. So,
well, that being said, hopefully you guys took something away from this beautiful little podcast. If I gotta say anything before he runs away, is don't fucking half-ass your seasons. If you're committing to your goal, commit to it. I don't care what comes up. Suck my ninky, do it anyway.
All right, and you're just gonna clean it at that? That's fucking funny. All right, I know we abruptly wrapped this up, but I do have to bounce, and I'm gonna be late if I don't leave right now. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you, and have the best day of your entire lives.
Peace, love, and protein.
All right.